Hello, welcome to part 7 of our video series looking at each of the benchmarks to start your academic year. We're now on to 7, as I mentioned, and that's going to be, what's it, Debs?
It's encounters with
higher education.
Further and higher education.
I had in mind.
So this really is the requirements for this is that all students should have opportunity to gain a full understanding of the full range of further and higher education pathways. So it might be colleges, independent training providers, apprenticeships, universities. So at least one. So by sort of leading up to when they leave, they should have had a full range. And so we can obviously link this back into that Baker clause. We know the importance of that now. It's really screamingly loud. So, and then by the age of 18, for those that go on to, by the age of 18, students who are considering university need to have experience at 2 potential universities.
Yeah.
And this one's really important. It raises aspirations. It is really important for social mobility and removing those social barriers to higher education in particular. It's about helping young people find their right pathway. There's many a route to where you want to go, and it's about making sure that schools provide a really broad range of options. So all types of institutions and information about apprenticeships as well.
Yeah, definitely. So it's kind of laying everything out, isn't it, in terms of options, in terms of all those different pathways and potential avenues. And again, we've made this kind of link all throughout this series. It's linking into other benchmarks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ensuring that this is kind of planned in. There's a journey involved here in terms of developing the understanding of the students from kind of as soon as they join the secondary school. Then it kind of builds from there. Perhaps increasing the kind of inspiring them during those early years, and then giving them more knowledge on how to develop and choose.
It's a bit like like a funnel approach, really. So in those early years, a really broad introduction to all of those different pathways, and then as they start developing their own interests and preferences and choices, narrowing it down so that we're really giving them the information that will help them make those best choices for themselves.
Definitely. I think something as well that I mentioned is kind of the involvement of parents in this whole benchmark, because parents are going to have their own perceptions of the right path for their son or daughter, and perhaps they're not as well educated in terms of the different options and what is right for their son and daughter at the particular time as well. So as an institution, you kind of need to bring the parents on this journey with the student as well.
You really do. And the choices have changed so much. I know since I was making my choices, they've changed so very, very much. I mean, I'm one of those sort of classic examples of a working class family where nobody in my family had ever gone to university. It was never discussed, was never an expectation. And I suppose we never felt it was something that was reachable. Not academically. I was really bright at school. I did brilliantly in my O levels. But it just wasn't something that was felt as achievable or accessible. And I also think, with my own children, so I've got a daughter that's just got her results today. She did brilliantly well. But, I want her to understand there's a broad opportunity of pathways to get where she wants to go. And it isn't just automatically traditional university, and that might be right for her, it might be right for lots of people, but I think if we can show all the different routes, we will help them make really the proper best decisions for their future pathways, their future choices. So I think that's why it's really, really important.
It is. It's not just laying it all out in terms of the kind of the different routes that it can take. It's kind of supporting parents and students with that decision making process, isn't it? In terms of, for example, a student might have a particular preference to going down one route, but it's important that you help them make the right decision based on their academic ability, but also everything else as well. And that's where the LMI element features of that as well, and ensuring that links to their chosen pathway.
Yeah. And that's where some of our employers are brilliant when they do their talks on their journey. It's really interesting to see how some have gone down the traditional GCSEs, A-levels, university, career. And others have gone, like Spaghetti Junction, and not gone into further education till they were much older, when they actually decided, I want to change tact. It's really fascinating. But we know now that the government are really keen to promote and increase the status of apprenticeships so that they're not seen as something as lesser than traditional university routes. So it's looking at opportunities for helping schools do that. I know some teachers, they're really confused about what a modern apprenticeship might be like, and certainly some of the higher level and degree level apprenticeships. So, looking at opportunities for improving that. And we've got a brilliant contact, Tina Patel from Amazing Apprenticeship. She's so fab at supporting schools, and she's got available to us such incredible resources, and I don't think enough schools are tapping into that. So I definitely will put the link on for that. They've got some fantastic resources to help upskill students, teachers, parents. So I mean, in terms of delivering this,
there's a lot of challenges around this, isn't there? Because and I do sympathise with schools to an extent, because the students are at their particular institution. They may have a sixth form. That it may, there may be some pressure from above to try and increase sixth form numbers. So the careers leader is often at the forefront of that potential stress or that pressure, and we've obviously got the Baker clause that's telling them otherwise, and it is difficult. And but ultimately that's the legislation, is that you need
it's
to have
absolutely
those
a requirement.
doors.
And I always say to my schools, you've got to stand by your own credibility, and that you will be the right choice for lots of students, and other providers will be the right choice for others. And whether or not they like that, it is in the Baker clause, and Ofsted are going to be checking that that's been adhered to. So
I think if you're doing everything right, and you provide all of the things that we've spoken about in this video series about doing the right thing for students and providing all this support, you would like to think it comes to this, and you've given all that support to students. The likelihood is they're gonna probably come with you anyway, because you've provided them with that much help and support. They will probably realise that the institution that has helped them and provided and guided them that well, they're likely to stick with you anyway. I think it's the way I've kind of described it.
I think, in terms of delivering this one, it's where we can link it to other benchmarks. That's the ideal. So linking it back to benchmark 4 and 5 and 6, that's the perfect opportunity, really. So where we can embed it that way, brilliant. But there's, obviously schools do career fairs. So they'll invite providers and universities to that. I think it's important to remind everyone of the criteria for this benchmark, to make it count. It's got to be meaningful. So, there has to be learning outcomes identified. There has to be the opportunity for two-way interaction. There has to be opportunity for reflection.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think there's a couple of ways that I've seen this delivered quite well as well. Universities and colleges generally are quite good at providing a service, potentially around, whether it be interview skills or whatever. So, if there's something that you would like a college or university to come in and deliver in kind of almost like an exchange format, in that they can come in, deliver something for you that meets your needs as a school, but on the their side of the bargain is that they get to speak to the students about their options and things like that at the college or the university. That is also a good way of doing it.
It is. Well. You know, you could ask a university to come and deliver a lesson. That's part of your curriculum. You're not taking time away. It's part of that. You deliver this bit of lesson for us, and then you can talk to students about the courses that links into. That's really a useful way of doing it. I think another thing that's important, as I've said already, is CPD for staff.
Yeah.
On all of the different pathways and ways of bringing that into your subject. Because I know, you know, I'm organising some CPD on apprenticeships for one of my schools who say, you know, teachers are just a bit lost with it now. We've obviously got LiNCHigher, who are a national outreach, UniConnect it's called now, isn't it, that organisation? So LiNCHigher. So they've got a fantastic online learning portal, which students can access freely, teachers can and parents can. And there are links to all the major universities and other providers on there. And where possible, you know, there's opportunities for trips to uni. I know finance and time is always going to be a barrier for some schools there, but we've also got, you know, the virtual world that we can still access, and universities are really geared up for virtual tours and open days now. So some schools use their drop-down days to fulfill this one. And there's the CEC's resource, My Choices. It's absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't looked at that one, I will provide the link. It's a brilliant resource, isn't it, Alex? It covers so much stuff on there and stuff for parents.
Outstanding. I think the thing that really kind of struck me about how good that resource is the guide for parents. It literally has everything in there that the parent could possibly need. You know, I would suggest that there would need to be I wouldn't suggest just sending that out and saying, right, that's my parent bit done. You know, there will be some requirement for you to support the parents, I think, as well. But that resource is a great foundation, I think, if nothing else, to support the parents in.
It is.
You know, in bringing them up to speed and educating them on all the different options. Because as a parent, you know, just to understand the kind of process that the son and daughter's going through regarding exams and moving on to next steps, there's an awful lot to take in.
It is very confusing. It is. There's so much. So it is a brilliant one. And then there's other online resources that are superb. Not Going to Uni, National Apprenticeship Week, you know, the LiNCHigher one we've mentioned. So tons of stuff on there.
Good stuff. So that's Gatsby Benchmark 7, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.
Okay.